Hi. Can you hear me in the back? Okay. Maybe I stand here, I can see, and hide from the camera. Maybe I will stand here or walk. I will speak slower. If you cannot understand, just raise your hand. I can speak again. We have time. And I also will speak about the topic in more general way, high concept. I not go deeper, but if you want deeper knowledge, maybe in the break, and I will also skip some of the algorithms because it's too technical, and I want to give you more general examples about the concept. So let's begin by raising your hands. Who familiar with the topics? Who familiar with the data anonymization? What is the technique? Somebody heard about K-Anonymity? Raise your hand. Okay, 2 or 3. Differential privacy, somebody familiar with the concept? 1. Okay, so this is new concept for you. I will show you the concept is more than 10 years. I hope it won't be boring. I have a lot of examples. So let's begin. The agenda is I will try to talk about the basics, what is data privacy. You're all familiar with data privacy, but I will bring you to the point to understand why we need anonymization and what is the link attack. Because if I will say to you, anonymize the data, you probably think of the naive approach, which is not always the good approach, and I will show you why. This is the attack that shows why. Then I will speak about K-Anonymity. This is one of the approaches. I show you the technique. I will show you one algorithm, and then the world is not so happy because there is also vulnerabilities. Attackers can you hear me, by the way? Attackers can take this, the algorithm is not good enough. Attackers can still recognize individual from the data. So it's not good enough. This is why researchers thought about a new way. It's called differential privacy. I will talk about it in the end, and I will also compare the two approaches. I will say which approach is better for which use case. Okay? So let's start from the beginning. Everyone is doing a lot of transactions in the cloud. Everyone probably buys something online and also did like in Facebook, in social networks. And you see all these pictures. You probably, in the web servers, some servers in the world contains information about you. Anyone don't agree? This is happening every day, all the time, a lot of companies going to the cloud, the world going to the cloud. And then there is a lot of software that allows us to upload our personal data also to the cloud. Our contacts there, our images, our videos and pictures, blogs, a lot of my private and my personal data is there. And you use software like Google Drive, Google Docs, iDrive, iCloud, Dropbox. You're familiar with them? So we intentionally bringing our private data to the cloud. Okay, so there are companies in the cloud that keeping our data, our personal data, and I will say to you that they have interest to share the data with somebody else, your data. So why? Why they share your data with different company? 4 reasons. The first reason is research and academy, because you want the doctor to receive the data and to have a better cure to the disease. Meaning, if we have a lot of data, a big data, the researchers can give us a better clue. So one reason is research. For research, we need a lot of data to analyze, to understand. The second reason is social ideology, meaning everyone must know everything. And if you are this person, you collect the data and you want to share it with all the world. I want everyone to understand this. Example for that is WikiLeaks. Probably you heard about it. they share the information they want everyone to know, and sometimes it contains private and sensitive information. The third reason is required by law. There are different laws by different countries. Also in Israel, there is a law that means the country, the Israel country, must publish statistics, information about the citizens. This happens also maybe in Poland, and also I heard about Poland that the mayor must publish his personal information, how much the salary and apartments, he must share it. Also in the United States and different countries. So we're required by law, meaning the companies must share the data. Not the actual data, but statistics way of the data. And the fourth reason is money, meaning business-oriented companies would like to share the data of your data because they want to give you better experience, maybe commercials, and by the process, they give other companies your personal data. When you navigate to the website and what you click, and from where, what, and what you did in the website. So this is related to business. So you understand that you are doing a lot of transactions in the cloud. You are giving the data to somebody else, and the companies would like to share it. They have interest to share the data. One example for the third reason required by law, this is United States US Census. They published every year statistics data about US citizens. You can find there, you can go to the website right now, you can find there information about United States people, when they buy house, who they vote, and many data sets. A lot of information. And we understand there is a problem. Why? We collect information from people. We gathered it in a big data. There is a database, contains a lot of data, and we would like to share it, to receive money. So the last arrow, there is a legal way, a legal process that companies must do something to the data that make it anonymized, to remove some information about them, about you, so the companies that receive your data cannot recognize you in the data. So the last arrow, this is the anonymization. We must do something, some process. And I will talk about this, about the process. Let's talk about the naive anonymization. If I will give you these records, medical data records, it contains sensitive information about diseases of different people. You 90% will say just remove identifiers. What are identifiers? They are the columns that can identify you one-to-one. Social security number, this is the first column, and the name. So I remove them. And I ask you, if I remove these columns, can you recognize somebody? Can you recognize somebody from the records now? Is it secure? What you say? No. Okay. Of course. Otherwise, I won't be here. So why it's secure? 10 years ago, Professor Latanya Sweeney from the United States, she recognized the disease of the governor of the Massachusetts state in the United States. The actual disease, before she was voted to be governor, the professor succeeded to receive it. How she done it? This is called linkage attack. She took the medical records. It was publicly available for everyone. And they told the state that it is anonymous. They removed the social security number, they removed the name, and the medical records are anonymous. But she could buy in $20 the voter list. Voter list, this is a data set that you need to vote for somebody, for the governor. So she buy it for $20 in the black market or something. And in the voter list, you can see name, address, city, and zip code, date of birth, and sex. So she discovered, by combining 3 columns, Each one of them is not identify you, but the combination can identify you. She succeeded to join the tables, and there was only one row with these parameters, with these values. You can see date of birth 61, female, live in this zip code, only one record by combining the two data sets. Meaning, she succeeded to combine two data sets, different data sets, no identifiers, and she succeeded to understand what is the disease of the governor. She go further. She took the US Census, what I showed you, of 99, and by combining 3 columns, zip code, birth date, and sex, she recognized 87% of the United States citizens from all the data sets. It was amazing. It was a shock. People understand, the researchers understand there is a problem. If there is a problem, they like it, and they want to fix it to find a solution. So there is a lot of data sets. When she discovered it 10 years ago, there was a lot of information in the internet, and people could be recognized even if it was anonymous. Another story is about Netflix. You're familiar with the company, Netflix. They had a challenge. Every year there is a challenge. They publish anonymous data about Netflix rating. It means all the movies and all the ratings. And they said, find me algorithm to find a better rating for a new movie. If there is a new movie like Batman 10, I don't know if it's published or not, maybe Batman 200. So find me the rating. What will be the rating of this movie based on earlier movies? So they published the data, and researchers found that the anonymous data of Netflix could be recognized. Individuals could be recognized by combining IMDb, which is Internet Movie Database. They combined 3 columns the same way, like Latanya Sweeney, and they recognized several people. It was so easy. Just do join by 2 tables, and that's it. Okay, so we have a problem. We would like to share data. We would like to be anonymous, but in the same way, we want people to understand what to do with the data. So what can I do? The first way, I can remove identifiers. We saw it didn't work. This is the first line. Didn't work. I can do link attack. The second row, sanitization. Sanitize here means I would like to share part of the data, not all. Maybe some columns, some values, not all data sets. But the problem here is it's not guaranteed. Privacy is not guaranteed because maybe you publish zip code, birth date, and sex. And you saw there is a link attack. So by the second approach is not good enough. It's not 100% secure. So we have the cryptographic. We can encrypt, and I can share it to you, and you can decrypt. But it's too expensive because I need to exchange keys, and this is considered expensive. But the main goal here is I want to share the data, and I want everyone to use it. I want doctors and many people. I want to share it. I want to share the data. I don't want to hide it. So cryptographic way is not good solution for here. So researchers found 2 different approaches. One of them is K-Anonymity. I will show you today. And the second one is differential privacy. Okay, so this was the overview until now, introduction. Now I will start by giving you the concept of K-Anonymity. This is a very popular approach for anonymization. You can find it in many companies today. They use it, and not the naive approach. This is the main approach people use today. If you take data sets, any data set, you can divide it in 3 ways. The first one is identifiers. You want to remove them, name, social security number, IDs, all that. Just remove it. This is the naive anonymization. In the middle, there is quasi-identifiers, which means Each one of them is not identifier, but the combination is identifier. We call them quasi-identifiers because the combination. And the last column is sensitive data. We would like to, this should be secure. The sensitive information should be secure, meaning I don't want people to understand what is the sensitive data of the person. I want to disconnect the sensitive data from the people. Okay, so you can see here some information, and by this, if I have a background knowledge of somebody, I know he's a man, I know he is 20 years old, and I know where he lives, I have 50% to understand what is the disease, right? Because it can be in row number 1 or row number 2. I have two options. They look the same. They have the same quasi-identifiers, but I don't know what is the disease. So by this technique, I just changed the table to be to anonymize. So K-Anonymization, K is a parameter of the level of anonymization. Here we have 2 because we have 2 rows similar, 2 and 2. The last 2 and the first 2, okay? This is the intuition. You cannot recognize. This is the same way. I don't want you to recognize. Okay, how to do it? What is the technique? It's called generalization. Generalize. You make it unclear. What is it? You can do it on any value. You can do it on numbers. You can do it on years. You can do it on everything. Just give me any value. There is a domain of the value. If it's animals, you can say it's animal or some family of the animal. And you can do it on each value. You have a tree of the domain. I can give you another example. We have a table of marital status, sex, and hours. It's not matter, the information is not matter, but we can change it to for anonymity. If you take the first row, divorced man and 35, and you take the third row, divorced female 35, I want to combine them together to be the same. So I will take the man and female and say any sex, man or female, it's not matter. So I will combine them, it will look like this. Just join the values to be together. Now it's more secure. It's more secure. This is for anonymity. From 2, I change it to 4. The problem is if I will do too much generalization like this, there is a data with any value, all stars, meaning the person that will receive the data cannot do nothing. Think about doctors will receive data like this. What they can do? They cannot find a better cure. It's useless. It's like useless data. So the algorithms of K-Anonymity should know when to stop. I should do anonymization to generalize, but I need to stop because it's too much. It's useless. So this is the trade-off. There's a trade-off between how much generalization and how much secure I want to be. I can give you an example, but I think I will do it in the break because it's too technical. I don't want it to be boring. There is an example of one algorithm. I will skip to the K-Anonymity. I want to show you. I didn't say it in the beginning. I did my thesis about this topic on social networks. I did my master on it, and for me it's very interesting. But I don't know how it is to you. But I want to show you that if you take this graph, you can see here the graph. There is a lot of information you can, as an attacker, you want to receive. If you can look in the graph, you can see one vertex, one point. There is the attributes of the point. And I want to, as attacker, to understand if the vertex exists or not. And think about the graph is about millionaires in the world. If I know you are in the graph, I know you are a millionaire. So the graph means a lot. Vertex in the graph means a lot. Also connections. If you have connections between two nodes, I call it edge, we call it edge, the connection. If edge exists or not is very important. Attackers would like to know. Also attributes. So there is a lot of information you can gather from social networks, from the graph. And this is more difficult to run K-Anonymity on graphs than table. I will show you one algorithm which is quite easy to understand. It's called K-symmetry. And you have the left graph. You can see names. And I will do naive anonymization. I will change it to the right side, to the right graph. And you can see this is the same graph without the names. And let's say you know, as an attacker, you know that Alice, you know she has one friend. OK? So look on the right side and tell me which one can be Alice. How much options I have as attacker. I received the right side. I know my friend Alice, she has only one friend. Two options, right? One or three. Only one or three. So I have 50% as attacker. And let's check how can I reduce it from 50% to much lower. I want to protect the graph. So there is a concept in graph theory that's called automorphism. I can change the order of the graph to a different permutation, meaning, in simple words, I take the graph, change some vertex, and the graph is similar, just similar. You can see the colors, right? You can switch between 1 and 3, and the graph will be the same, just the same. Look on the right graph, switch between 5 and 4, just the same, right? So you can switch each one of the colors, each one of the points in the colors. You can just switch, and the graph will stay the same. We didn't ruin the useful of the graph. So what I want to do, I want to make it K-anonymous. I want to bring this graph to be each color will have K points. Because this way you have 1 divide K chance. I will show you how. It starts from the left to the right. The left is the original graph, removing the names and the identifiers. And if you see in the middle, graph B, only the greens was copied. I just took the original green points, and I cloned it, and connect the dots. Just connect to the same original colors. If green was connected to blue, the new green also will be connected to the blue. So in this way, you have 50% to identify green. Now you have 25%. So in this way, you can go to the last graph. In this way, you have K is 3, meaning you have 33% to identify. So this technique is called K-symmetry because it looks like a symmetry because you just clone. You just clone the graph, and the graph is just the same. In this article, the researchers, they speak a lot about why the graph is similar, the same graph. OK, so I say to you, the world is not so happy as we thought, because we have this technique. It's good, it's popular, people use it, but there is a lot of disadvantages that attackers today use it. And I will show you why and how. There is a lot of information, but just look on the right table, only on the right table. Okay? Somebody can recognize Bob, which is 31 years old, American, lives in this address. Somebody just shout if you can recognize him from the table. Yeah, where is it? Okay, so row number 9, 10, 11, or 12, right? Look just on the right table. Bob can be 9, 10, 11, or 12, right? We have 25% to recognize. Are you agree? Okay, so we have 25%, but the values are the same, cancer. So it's not 25%, it's 100%. You know he has cancer. Because the values in the sensitive is the same. So this is why there is a technique called L diversity. We take the sensitive information and we make it different. If L diversity is 3, the sensitive value will be 3 different values. You can see here in the table, this is 4 anonymous, but 3 diversity. Try to understand. You can see 3 different quasi-identifiers, the same 4, but in the sensitive column, you can see 3 different values in each section. So this is more secure. Okay, background knowledge attack. The same way, find me Alice. Where Alice in this right table? Who can find her? Alice is 21 years old, Japanese, live in this address. Can you find her in the right table? The right table is 4 anonymous. Yeah, where? Okay, 1, 2, 3, or 4. We have 25%. Okay, she is 21 years old, Japanese, lives in this address. We have 25% to recognize, but what is background knowledge? Meaning, you know something as attacker, you know something about her, you know something about Japanese. There is a common knowledge about Japanese, they don't have heart disease. The possibility is very low for this person. So from 25%, it's not 25% anymore. It's 50 or more, or 70%. Because you can see the values. It's viral infections. There is more possibility. So background knowledge, something that attacker knows about you, about some domain, and K-Anonymity don't understand how to do it. You cannot run the algorithm, and they don't understand this background knowledge. They don't come together. There is a big vulnerability here. And the last vulnerability, sorry, not the last, but almost the last. There is a table. You can see a column meaning smoker or not, and which group. And I say to you, I am familiar with somebody is in group 6. He can be in row 11 or 12. Okay, I have 50% chance to recognize him. But there is a proof that I can seek rules from the table, meaning each time there is a cancer, there is a smoker, there is a cancer. I will say it again. Each time you see smoker, you can see the disease is cancer. So you can understand that if you're familiar with somebody who is smoking, probably he has cancer, probably, more chance. So if I familiar, my friend is in group 6, there is no 50-50%. There is a more chance that if he is a smoker, I know he has a cancer. There is a more chance. This topic is a course in the university just about this topic and how to secure it. I just give you high-level approach about this topic. Just this slide is a course about statistics and security. And the last vulnerability is temporal attack. We have a data contains salaries about specific city, let's say here, all the salaries in this city, and I can ask what is the sum of the salaries. So I ask now, and I received answer 50 million. Now my friend leave the town, and I ask again, what is the sum of the salaries? I received 49. Okay, so 50 now, 49 after he left. So my friend, how much he earned? 1 million, right? I just do sum between it. K-anonymity cannot solve this problem. This is a big problem in the K-anonymity. It's called temporal attack. I can just query the database, and the result will be anonymous. But I can just do compare between the results, and I can understand the one line, the one information I need. Okay, so this problem, we have a solution for this problem, the temporal attack. The solution is called differential privacy. It came to the world because there were a lot of data sets. I, as a user, can ask questions. I don't receive the data sets, but I can query. I can ask questions, only questions, and I can do, as attacker, the temporal attack. So this approach, differential privacy, gives a solution to the queries. Okay. In the K-anonymity, I changed the values in the data sets. Now, I just query, but I will receive a value with some noise. It's not the exact answer. If I will ask, what is the sum of salaries? I don't receive 50 million. I will receive something different, not the exact value. This is the anonymous way. So in this process, I will trick the values. The anonymous is the process itself and not the data. The data is the original data. Or I will add some noise to the function. How can I add noise? There is a technical way, mathematical way to add noise. It's called Laplace. This is one example. This is a mathematical function to distribute the values. I can distribute and add noise. You can see in the picture, there is one line, one graph, which is the original values. And after I run the algorithm, the Laplace distribution method, I add some noise. The graph is not the real values. They change a little bit. And this technique is quite difficult to understand and quite difficult to implement. And this is why K-anonymity is more popular, because it's a general way. You always can do K-anonymity. Here, it's quite difficult because how much noise I need to add? What is the noise? So if we speak about salaries, if somebody has salary or not, I need to understand how much noise I need to add. So it depends on the use case. So it's very difficult to implement this. It's not a general. You cannot just run algorithm and that's it. You need to think about what is the values itself and how to add noise or not. Okay, another way about differential privacy. I will give you an example, a live example. Think about, I will ask a question and you will give me an answer, but it will think about the answer, but don't answer. Just think about it. Do you think Poland will qualify to the quarterfinals? Don't answer. Just think about it. Okay. So think about, I will collect the data I will collect. I will receive the information. And if somebody told me no, you don't want me to publish it, right? You don't want me to say who said no and who said yes. So differential privacy meaning that if you ask me what is the level of percentage of people answered yes, it will be the same as if you answered or not. I will say it again. The same result will be with my result and without. And with your result or without. Each one of you. Because the function will add noise and your result is not matter. If you receive yes, it's not matter if it's yes or no. I know it's not yet sit, okay, but it's quite difficult to understand it, but the result, it's the same for each one of you. But as a whole, the result is okay. The result will be similar to the actual result. It will be with some value of noise, but it will be not accurate, but similar. This is the vulnerability, or it's not the vulnerability, but it's not the actual value. It's something different. Okay, so if I compare the algorithms, we have, in one side, we have K-Anonymity. In the other end, we have differential privacy. In the left side, it's very common, very easy to understand. We can do it on each value, any value on social networks, on tables. And in the right side, there is differential privacy, a new concept. This, in the research area, in the academy, is newer. It's a modern approach. But each use case, you need to think about what is the noise, what is the sensitive, how to do it, what is the function, what will be the use case to use, what is the query. In one end, we change the original data. Differential privacy, don't change the value. The original data stays as is. And last slide, anonymity for the masses. This is true. It's more than 10 years ago. And differential privacy, you can see many new algorithms about this topic if you're interested in it. And the research now focused on differential privacy more. And if I want to say final words about this topic, is I cannot say which algorithm to choose, but I can say to you that if you think that this topic is interesting, data anonymization, I don't know if you heard about GDPR nowadays, but this topic is very popular in most of the companies. So if you work in security, you probably, somebody is working in anonymization. You should have some sort of anonymization. It should be legal to do it. And I cannot say which algorithm to use. I personally am familiar with several algorithms. I'm familiar mostly with K-Anonymity, but you can choose your own or think about it and read more about it later on. And that's it. Thank you.
Any questions?
You want the answer about who will qualify? If Poland will qualify to the quarterfinal?
Of course.
Okay, you can reach me in the break, and you can ask more questions. And thank you.